Let's go, Matt. From another 53-yarder. Is Matt Gay going to win the game? It's up. It's on its way, and it's gone. It's gone. Let's go. Go into Baltimore with Gardner Minshew and win the game. Let's go. I was telling you guys all week long, I feel good about us in Baltimore. Every step of the way, I felt good about us. Okay, if you watch the live stream, you know that the whole time, even after Gardner stepped out the back of the end zone, I felt good about us. When the Colts failed on fourth down, in overtime, in midfield, with the other team having Justin Tucker, I wasn't worried about it because I believed. And the boys went in and got it done in Baltimore. What a game. Like that whole game was just exciting the whole time. I was juiced up. I don't know if you can tell, but my voice a little messed up right now. All right. We were having some fun on the live stream, but coach said it best in the locker room to those guys. Like that is the definition of resilience, right? A game like this, we've watched the Colts lose games like this for years under Frank Reich, including against this Baltimore Ravens team. So the fact that all around the offense and the defense were able to do their thing, special teams, for the most part, had a good day. There was that punt return in overtime that made me pretty nervous. That's the second big punt return at really bad times in this young season. So we need to get that issue figured out. But overall, great job. Matt Gay becoming the first kicker in NFL history to ever hit 4 50-yard field goals in the same game. 53, 53, 53, and 54. The game winner was a 53-yarder. The one that tied it up was a 53-yarder. Just absolutely brilliant. And it's not that he was just hitting them. He was going right down the middle with plenty of distance every time. Okay. And the weather in Baltimore wasn't what we expected it to be, right? It wasn't monsoon weather, but it wasn't sunny out there, right? It was still, raining, drizzling, whatever. And it wasn't great weather to be playing in, but between the snap and the hold and the kick on every single one of those was just flawless. So great job by that unit to be able to get the job done, especially because in the past, the Ravens have beat the Colts on multiple occasions because they were able to block a field goal at the end of the game when the Colts are trying to win or tie. So the fact that they were able to do their thing, they handled their business on that unit's great. Okay, it's the punt coverage right now that we need to get a grip on. But this is what the numbers look like through this game. All right, stats for all the boys. Gardner Minshew, 27 of 44, 227, 1 touchdown. Now, there was some bad decisions by Gardner Minshew in this game. Luckily, he took care of the ball. That's what 27 completions for 227 will tell you, is that he was just being safe with the ball, right? He has 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Good that we didn't turn the ball over here. But there's a lot of short stuff in this game for Gardner. The downfield stuff was where the incompletions were coming. He overthrew a lot of guys. He did hit Alec Pierce on one sideline, on the right sideline, on a great throw, right over 28's hand, or right in between 28's hands. Hit Alec Pierce over there, who's finally getting involved. He got more involved in this game, so it's good to see that he's starting to get involved. They had that shot to Alec Pierce on the left side of the field, which was a amazing throw by Gardner. Put it in a great spot. And really, Alec would have had that one. He would have been in bounds. It was just a good play by the defense, right? Getting his hand in there, hit both the arms and knock that ball loose. That one, I'm not going to put that on Alec. Like, most receivers are probably dropping that ball, right? And Gardner also had the touchdown pass to Zach Moss. That was a beautiful little loft pass. Put it in a perfect spot. Patrick Queen is a really good linebacker, and he was right there with Zach Moss, but it went just over his hand and dropped right into Zach Moss's hand for the touchdown. So, a little bit of really good, a little bit of, you're worrying me, Gardner, in this game, but overall, he was able to take care of the ball. Okay, we always talk about turnovers. He didn't turn the ball over, except for that fumble. But, Kyle Hamilton, that whole first half was a problem, right? They adjusted him, and he was less effective in that way. Kyle Hamilton was in the second half, but that first half, They just didn't have an answer for that blitz that they kept running and kept getting home on. Okay, so if you look at Gardner's pass catchers here, Michael Pittman Jr., 9 catches, 77 yards. And dude, that catch by Michael Pittman Jr., where he got hit by 2 guys, he lost his helmet, but he held on to the ball. That is the kind of thing that's going to get a guy like Michael Pittman Jr. paid, because when it's mattered, like you go through his different seasons, man, when it matters, he makes the play most of the time. Okay. There's going to be people in the comments that are going to, as soon as I said that are going in the comments like, he doesn't always make the play, and give one specific example. Okay. He's not perfect. He's not the perfect football player. But the kind of guy Michael Pittman is, the kind of player Michael Pittman is, people will love to have that on their football team, man. And I'm glad that we have him on ours, right? Without that play, we lose this game. It's that simple. So Michael Pittman, great game again, 9 for 77 in this game. Josh Downs was very involved, which I love to see. 8 for 57. I hope we continue to manufacture touches for him. Need to get the ball in his hands as much as possible in these games. Okay. Then Alec Pierce, as I said, got more involved. He ended up with 3 catches, 43 yards. And the good thing about that, the 3 for 43, like if you paid attention to the routes he was running, it's much different than what we saw last year, right? Last year, the route tree was limited. This year, they're having him do more things, right? And he's starting, at least what we saw in this past game, starting to figure out how to gain a little bit of separation enough for it to matter. So hopefully we continue to see Alec Pierce develop. Hopefully we continue to see him take steps forward, because if he gets really good at those other routes and people have to start guarding him differently, that's going to open up the deep shot. Okay, that's what we're hoping for, right? Those double moves are going to work more because people are worried about the other routes. That's what we're looking for going forward. This is a good step in the right direction for Alec Pierce. Okay, Zach Moss, 2 for 23 and a touchdown through the air. Drew Ogletree got a catch in this game, ended up as a first down, 1 catch, 11 yards. Kylan Granson, 2 catches, 9 yards. Trey Sermon, 1 catch, 4 yards. Isaiah McKenzie, 1 catch, 3 yards. Okay, so then you look at the running backs. What the running backs do in this one, Zach Moss had 30 carries for 122. No touchdowns on the ground, had the one through the air. But Zach Moss carried the team on his back today, carried the offense on his back. The defense did their own thing. Zach Moss carried the offense on his back today, just like he did last week in the last 3 quarters, right? Helping out Gardner Minshew in that offense, sustaining drives, picking up those extra couple yards, every run. Like, this is a game of inches, man. It's so cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason. What Zach Moss does to gain those extra yards is so important. And we couldn't have won this game without Zach Moss doing what he did. Okay, now, interesting note on the running backs, Jonathan Taylor was at the game. Jonathan Taylor was cheering on the team on the sideline. Okay, and the game he decided to go to was one with the bad weather. Okay, so the fact that he's willing to sit out there with the guys, and the fact that there's something I heard Aaron Rodgers say that I never really thought about. Guys that have, ACL tears or really bad ankle injuries, like guys that can't really move on their own like that, can't be on the sideline just in case, people are rushing the sideline right where they are and then they get hit, right? So Jonathan Taylor is healthy enough to be on the sideline. And he's there. He decided to be there. Okay, this is great news. He's going to be back in a couple of weeks. We're going to have AR back next week. So what this offense can be is exciting, right? Trey Sermon coming in, had 5 carries for 17. I can't remember if I told you guys that because I've been talking about Zach Moss. But Trey Sermon, 5 carries, 17. Was on the field a decent bit. Zach Moss got shaken up at one point, but came back in the game. So gritty performance by this offense. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty the whole time, but they were able to get the job done, and they didn't turn the ball over. Okay, and then you look at what the Ravens did. Lamar was 22 of 31 for 202, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but 14 carries, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. We could not stop Lamar on the ground for portions of the game, right? Absolutely dominated the second quarter against the Ravens. I believe they ended up with negative 12 yards in the second quarter, like dominated. So most of this, a lot of it was in the first quarter, the rest of it, second half. Okay, 114, 101, 2 touchdowns. Gus Edwards, 11 carries, 51, no touchdowns. Melvin Gordon, 10 carries, 32 yards, no touchdowns. Kenyon Drake had 1 carry, no yards. Okay, Zay Flowers was really the only guy we had to worry about throughout the day. He was the one picking up little chunks for him and helping him sustain drives in the first half or in the first quarter and in the third quarter. He ended up with 8 for 48, right? That's what I'm talking about. Little chunks, average 6 per reception. Nelson Aguilar, 4 for 39, pretty much all in the second half when they were trying to come back there at the end. Mark Andrews, 4 for 35. Kenyon Drake, 2 for 31. In a beef with Zaire Franklin, who I don't think is the dude you want to be beefing with in the NFL, right? Aaron Donald, Zaire Franklin, a couple of scary dudes. All right, Melvin Gordon, 2 for 23 through the air. Isaiah Likely, 1 catch for 20. That was in the first quarter. Rashad Bateman, 1 for 6. I also believe that was in the first quarter. So defense did good, man. You go look here at the team stats, which is what we'll do. Total yards, 364 for the Ravens, 327 for the Colts. But the Colts gave up 5 sacks in this game, so there's a lot of yardage taken away there, right? I mean, the Colts defense had 4 sacks, but, Lamar, for the most part, Lamar's stepping up or at least trying to run away from it towards the line of scrimmage. So he generally loses less yardage that way. So overall, again, total yards, 364 to 327 in the Ravens' favor. Passing yards, 188 to 178 Colts. Rushing yards, 186 to 139 Ravens. Yards per play, 5.1 to 3.9 Ravens. Okay, so when you hear all that, offensively, the Colts got outplayed. 5.1 yard, under 4 yards per play is like kind of pathetic. Like you're able to get first downs, with 4 yards per play, but it doesn't really work that way. You want your yards per play to be more like 4.5 to 5.5. In between that range, that's where the Ravens were, right? They had 20 first downs. The Colts had 19 first downs. Third down, the Ravens were 6 of 16. On third down, the Colts were 8 for 22. That's just over 40%. It's not the worst you could do, right? Getting to 33% under is pretty scary, but you want to be over 50%, right? Right around 50, over 50. That would be a good offensive game. So all the numbers tell you offensively, it wasn't a great game. But again, they were able to put the ball in the end zone a couple times. The defense getting turnovers saved this game. Okay, neither team threw an interception, but the Ravens had 2 fumbles lost in this game, and that was massive for the Colts, right? Being able to get points off turnovers is a big deal. Whether it's 3 or 7, it doesn't matter. Okay, and the fact that they were able to get down the field a few times, like having Matt Gay is great. Everybody scrutinized the contract. That's a lot for a kicker and blah, blah, blah. Man, we're not winning without Matt Gay. Imagine if we had, Blankenship or if we had Badgley. Do you trust I like Badgley, but do you trust Badgley from 50 plus 4 times in a game? No. I like Matt Gay from that distance, though. So, having Matt Gay save the day, right? Being able to get points on drives where you can't continue to move the ball down the field. The Ravens are a very well-coached football team. So you had to expect that as the Colts adjusted to what the Ravens were doing in the first quarter, and then the Colts dominate the second quarter, coming out in the second half, after that point, it's going to be a heavyweight fight, right? Both sides making halftime adjustments and then adjusting on the fly as they go in the second half. And I mean, it made for an amazing game, right? This almost went to the very end in overtime, got close to being a tie. If Matt Gay doesn't hit that field goal, there's a good chance it is a tie, the way the Colts defense was playing. Now one thing I'd like to see the Colts clean up is penalties, especially the false starts and terrible moments. I'm looking at you, Braden Smith. Come on, brother. What are we doing? The snap count. The defense doesn't. Like, come on, man. It seems like Braden Smith, a guy that might not be able to handle the moment, getting nervous when it matters the most. So we'll see if that can get fixed. Quentin Nelson, I believe, also had a false start in this game. So offense has got to figure it out from that perspective. You can't have penalties, man. Penalties will kill drives. It'll kill momentum. Penalties gave the Ravens an opportunity. And with a well-coached football team, with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, You can't continue to give them opportunities. Colts almost lost this one, but again, a game that they would normally lose, they found a way to win because we have a guy in Shane Steichen leading this team, and we couldn't be any more lucky to have coach, man. They nailed it. They nailed it with the coach. They nailed it with the quarterback this offseason. So for everything everybody wants to say about Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard, we got it right. Dude, and the future is bright. Who thought after 3 weeks the Indianapolis Colts would be leading the AFC South? Honestly, nobody, bro. Nobody. I'm usually positive and optimistic, and I love this team. I thought we were going to start the year 1-2. Okay, but then I started to watch this team play, watched them against the Jaguars, watched them against the Texans. And now I started to remember just how good this team is. And people are going to start to figure out they're probably going to write us off next week, too. We play the Rams. Somehow, some way, they're going to find a way to write us off, but we get AR back. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to go into next week and win another game and start 3-1. Who would have thought? Keep doubting us, man. I don't know if you can tell, I'm still a little fired up. You know, literally every prediction I saw for the Ravens game was the Ravens were going to win. No, literally nobody I saw gave the Colts a chance to win. I'm not going to lie to you. It got me heated, man. I'm a passionate fan. I love this team, but I'm a really competitive person. You know what I mean? I was a football player. I'm a really competitive person, man, and uh, I got pretty mad. Keep writing us off, man. This is a good football team. We're lucky to have this football team. As long as they keep doubting us and they keep overlooking us, then we're going to keep shocking the world week in, week out until they remember who we are. For the shoe, baby. Don't forget to subscribe. Love and appreciate you all. Thank you for stopping by. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.